Welcome to Goldfish on Games, where today I wanted to do a state of the channel, end of the year, thank you style video. I also figured why not combine it with a quote unquote studio tour. So let's get it started. And while I do a nice slow pan around the room, I'd like to say a big thank you to all you lovely subscribers, as the channel recently hit the 5k mark, which is considered a big milestone, due to how difficult it can be to hit, and that was all possible down to you lovely lot. Now it might have taken 7 years to get here, but I was never one for rushing, and all I have to say is a massive thanks to all of you who watched and subscribed. You lot are the real stars of Goldfish on Games. And let's start where most of my videos start, in front of the bookcases, as these double up as the backdrop for those camera bits. And well, there's been a lot of doubling up going on here as I very much ran out of room. As the top of the bookcase also shows, where there's light guns, joysticks, weird box consoles, they all live up there. Some of which I've covered, and others I plan to do so in the future. Now I have tried to organise these bookcases the best possible, but this is still the same 3.5 by 4 metre room that I've been using for the last 5 or so years. So space is at a premium, so I've had to get a bit creative in how I put everything up. But I have tried to create interesting displays where possible, but sometimes I've just had to try and make things fit where they can. And talking of being fit, I'm not. But I have been working on it over the last couple of years, and I'm at my personal best in probably the last couple of decades. Now this has been a mostly personal thing, as I just wasn't happy with the weight that I'd gotten to. But hey, look at this. It's almost a muscle. In regards to changes in the room, that old TV had to be replaced, as it broke down, and in its place, well, it's a Sony Trinitron. Now it might be smaller than the previous set, but it has all the same features, and it is really nice to use. The consoles also got rearranged, as there are a few new ones, as I've been trying to get the more interesting NTSC machines, mostly as a complement to my PAL ones, like this Famicom Twin being my main NES now, or the PC Engine Duo, that required a whole bunch of work to get it running. But I didn't turn that into a video, as well it makes the whole process so much longer, and most of the time I'm just following other people's videos and guides, so you're better off just going straight to them rather than looking at me. And nestled amongst all of this is my pride and joy, the GFGGC, a video that did way better than I expected. And thanks to the comments pointing out a few interesting items, I've worked up plans for a version 2. I'm not sure when I'll get round to it, as I'll have to buy certain parts and have to get them delivered, but I am very excited for it. It's been a great year for the channel, as it started off with a number of breakout videos, with both the Outrun and the Saru video just doing lovely numbers. And then that older Dune 2 video just exploded when the film came out. I love to say that I planned all of that, but it was a sheer coincidence. And all this resulted in the channel getting double the number of views and watch hours than we got last year. So again, another huge thank you to all of you lot, as you made it all happen. I know I can be a bit scattered in the type of content that I make, as I might look at hardware, then software, and then check out a magazine. A lot of the times you have no idea what's coming. And that's not the best thing for YouTube. But to be honest, this is a hobby for me, and I just make the content that I want to watch and enjoy. So if you're coming along for the ride, then you lot are awesome. Now one thing that has come up a few times is how I connect everything up. And for the video, I tend to use SCART cables, which I've labelled, and they come up to this point here, where I can easily change them out in this switch box, and I can just press the button and away we go. This thing also acts as a splitter, which has been very handy for filming the light guns, which I guess is something I'll have to come back to again at some point soon. For power, I'm also doing something similar, with labels on all the power plugs and bricks, which I then connect up to the power as needed. Now after I use a machine, I tend to leave it connected to the console, and then I'll just leave the plug down here. If I'm going to be using it a lot, then I might leave it connected and then just turn it on and off by the switch. For controllers, well, I've got these new bookcases in the middle of the room. On one side I've got boxes full of discs, a lot of discs, but I've also got boxes full of controllers and sticks. And I've tried to organise these as best as I can. On the other side, well, I've got more games, but I've also got cables, cleaning solutions, and all sorts of other bits and pieces required for these machines. And I had to use the top of it to show off the Cartoon Classics repo box that I got. It's also ended up as a good place to put handhelds, as well as some of the figures that I've picked up over the years. But it's also a nice place to put all those 3D printed models that I've painted up. And to be honest, I think I've used the 3D printer more for these sorts of models than for retro machines or making anything useful. Continuing the theme of not enough space, the PC games are really packed in, and are arranged in any way I could to fit more boxes on the shelves. But that wasn't enough, as it's ended up overflowing and there's now shame piles. I swear I'm not a hoarder, but there are times where I've worried about how many games I've ended up getting. Many of which I have planned on doing a video on, but it hasn't helped that I reduced the amount of content I put out this year, as the year started out really badly for me, and between that, work, trying to be a bit more sociable this year, and the videos that I did release just taking so much longer to make, it just slowed everything down. Now I'm hoping that I've turned the corner on that, as I have a lot of content to cover. But work is going to get a little busier next year, so I can't promise you anything. And for those that have asked, when am I going to return to a type of content or a particular series, well, all I can say is hopefully next year. I can't guarantee that I'll get to work on it quickly, as I do tend to work on what inspires me. But if I have a good chat about something, then there is a chance that that might inspire me more than anything. So the Discord is a good place for that type of thing. It's also where I drop my videos a week early where I've done them, and also give hints at what's coming up in the future. I'm using it as a sort of replacement for Patreon, as I don't feel I'm quite in the right place for that. It's not just old hardware in the tech room, as I upgraded my camera to this 4K Sony one, and I've used it for the last few videos, so hopefully that has come across, even though I do export them at 1080p. I also got the Evercade Alpha, an arcade machine that takes Evercade carts. After a visit to the Retro Computer Museum and playing their virtuality arcade machines, I had to get a VR headset. And outside of needing to use motion sickness patches, I've really enjoyed it. I Expect You to Die and the Batman game have been real highlights for me so far. One thing that has been good about this year is making it to more events. Going to Kickstart was awesome, and I met and chatted with so many lovely people. I also had fun at the Retro Computer Museum, a few gaming markets, as well as the museum in Cambridge. It's great to be able to chat with people face to face, even if it does drain the old social battery. I hope to do more of them next year as well, and if you spot me at any retro day, come along and say hi. I enjoy a good chat, and I almost always have stickers or badges or something to give out. And here we are at my main desk. This is where I game, edit videos, and also spend all day working, as I'm now fully work from home. So looking at these screens takes up a huge part of my day, which is why I've tried to make this a nice space, as well as having these fancy keyboard and mice. So it is good to be surrounded by my Amiga and PC games, even if there is another shame pile growing in the corner there. And there's more computers sprouting up from the top of the bookcases, including that Dragon 32 that I promised a video on a while back. I do have a script in progress for it, so I'll get to it when I can. I also upgraded the basic PC speakers to this decent set, and because it's nice to have a hobby that doesn't involve screens, I've been building up Gunpla. I also have my N64 up here, as just recently I've been helping out the Summer Kart 64 team with some improvements to their menu. And hopefully that will go live soon. And next to that is my growing collection of PC format CDs. I do plan to cover these once we get through the rest of the Amiga cover discs. I am amazed at how well that series continues to do, but I have to admit there's probably another year's worth of content, as each month is getting harder and harder to pick the magazines. But I do keep finding new content, so who knows, as this month we have a brand new magazine, and that will drop later on this month, a day after my birthday. And this is where we're going to end the video, and almost end the year. So again, a huge thank you for everyone that watches. I never really expected to keep making videos this long, or for the channel to do as well as it has done. So the fact it's still growing continues to amaze me. And I have to say this again, but thank you for watching, but also liking, sharing and commenting on the videos. I do read all of them, even if I've been particularly bad this year at responding to them. Do know I have read them and I have enjoyed them, so thank you all of you. And if you're looking forward to content for next year, well, do I have some treats for you, particularly if you like videos about games that no one ever seems to talk about or even mention. So until next year, I've been the Goldfish, that was 2024, and this was Goldfish on Games.